Thought I'd break out the old intro there.
There you go.
Appropriate.
Little John Philip Sousa never hurts.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. So I'm here on a Friday. Holy shit. And,
what in the hell
Friday
are you doing here on a Friday?
At
a 1 o'clock.
What the hell? Well, I got the day off, so.
Wow. You got a day off?
I got a day off paid. Thank you very much. But
yeah, I don't want to burst your bubble. I'm off for the whole month.
Paid?
Uh-huh.
Fuck, you got a welfare job.
Well, you know, they're a Swiss company.
Anyway, cool. Well, I want to say,
have a sabbatical.
There you go, man. Get some time to get paid to go play golf and shit.
So I get 20 days off paid. So pretty much 4 working days. So yeah. 4 weeks.
So you got 4 weeks. There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Optimal word is paid.
Paid.
So,
nice
well,
name.
I want to thank you for spending this afternoon with me here. I haven't done a stream on a Friday in for freaking ever. Yeah. Probably
last summer.
3 or 4 freaking. I don't know.
No, last summer we were doing phones on Friday.
We did a
beer
Friday
30s. Okay. Beer 30.
30. Okay. Well, there we go. It's been a while though.
It's been a minute.
It's been a little bit. But yeah, so we'll do the Friday, and we're it's 4th of July, damn it, and Independence Day.
It is.
It is. What? It is. I tell you what, I when I was doing I was telling you earlier, I was on the internet for most of the freaking morning doing some searching and shit. I found the perfect freaking video for. I was just enthralled by it. The problem is, if I would have used that video in this stream, it would be taken down for copyright and everything else because, it was from another YouTube channel, and I searched.
Landed the free my ass.
Yeah, I searched everywhere on the internet. All the resources I could find. And it was Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey talking about what the signers of the Declaration of Independence went through after they signed it.
That's the end of the story.
And they think, yes, it is. And then of course what went into writing the Declaration of Independence, because good old Thomas Jefferson was the one that authored it. Yep. And 56 guys, men, yes, they were men, signed it. And I think of the 56, I want to say probably maybe 10 or 8 of those individuals came out unscathed. Per se. The other gentleman that signed it, you see, and this is the one thing that Paul Harvey pointed out. He says that these men, like by today's standards, people will do something when they say they have nothing to lose. These 56 men had everything to lose.
Oh yeah.
They had their fortunes, their families, and their livelihoods, everything. Mm-hmm. And for the majority of them that didn't, there was a handful of them that did die during the Revolutionary War. They did get shot in battle. But most of the men were imprisoned or their families were imprisoned. Their wives and children were killed.
Yep.
They became broke, destitute, homeless, and these were men of means. These were men that owned land and plantations and farms. They owned businesses. They had a lot of money. They had a lot of shit to lose.
Right.
In signing that Declaration of Independence, a shitload of stuff to lose, and they did. They lost it. but their sacrifice, that's a thing we don't hear a lot. Their sacrifice that they swore their sacred honor to each other.
Uh-huh.
Not one of those men, even the ones that were captured, ratted out anything. They didn't become a Benedict Arnold or anything like that. They kept their mouth shut. They were true to their bond and their word. When they signed that document, that meant everything. Their sacred honor. That's the last words on the frickin' Declaration of Independence. Their sacred honor.
Yeah.
And we don't have that today. What we have is clown show bullshittery.
Yes.
Our government. Primarily those individuals that we supposedly elect every 2 years. Allegedly. Yeah, supposedly. We send these ungrateful sacks of crap to Washington, D.C. under the guise that they're representing our interests. That's supposed to be representing our interests. But no, once they get off the plane or off the bus or out of their car and they walk in and they break the threshold of that building, these motherfuckers are sellouts.
Oh, yeah.
Every single fucking one of them. I don't give a shit what initial is behind their freaking name. R-L-D. It doesn't matter.
No. I.
Very, very few. Very, very, very few of these individuals who go up there are honest people. Very few.
And why is that? Lobbyists.
Yeah. Thank you, Richard Nixon, you bastard.
Yes.
But anyway, going back to the Declaration of Independence. Now, I couldn't download the video because I couldn't show it. I wanted to, but of course, we would probably get struck and copyright claimed and blah blah blah. So I didn't go with that, but I did find.
But Wookie, how is I Patch McCain going to be able to make a living? You have to think about him.
I don't think about him. Who are you talking about again? Who?
I Patch McCain.
I Patch McCain. Is that a new comic book hero or villain?
Well, he
sounds like a comic book villain. Yeah.
He is a villain because the people in the SEAL community don't like him. Good old Dan Crenshaw is who I'm referring to. I Patch McCain.
Oh, Criminal Crenshaw. Yes. Colonel Douchebaggery.
Yes.
Or whatever the fuck. Captain Clink.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll be voted out.
Again.
He'll be voted out.
Well, he's from Texas. So they better get their ass together.
I'm sure they've probably already got someone lined up to primary. Anyway, so I wanted to pull this video down. It was Paul Harvey, and it was great. He was giving the background on the Declaration of Independence, and a lot of the men that signed it, he would specifically talk about what specifically happened to them and their families, and etc. It was very compelling. But I couldn't do it because, of course, YouTube sucks. And so I went on a different search. I started looking for readings. That's actually how I came across the Paul Harvey thing, was I was looking for people who, did a recording of a reading of the Declaration of Independence. And I went to the Library of Congress, was referred there on the internet. So I went there to their site, and they specifically said that they have some recordings that are prior to 1923. So, and they had several of them, but of course, the quality is going to be like bad.
Oh God, yes.
But they specifically said, and it blew me away because it's on their freaking site. They specifically said that there is a recording of a former president of the United States. And it's not in the Library of Congress, but it is public domain because they read it.
Oh.
Now, they read it when they were a United States senator. So they weren't as president then. This was just before their election, but
Yes.
they were still part of the United States government. So therefore, any works done by a employee or member of the United States government is
Public domain.
unless it's classified, as like it's national security or something like that, then it's free to use from the public because it was generated by the government, whether it's a song, a picture, or a speech, or a recording of a senator, making a speech. So,
Right.
so they said, yeah, you can find it on, of all places, the Internet Archive. And I'm like, holy shit. So, yes, I found it, downloaded it, edited it on my software. The first part of it, I think the first 4 or 5 minutes, was a gentleman was explaining what you were going to be hearing and who was talking and etc. And just talked a little bit about the Declaration of Independence and what went into it, and that it was written by Thomas Jefferson. So anyway, I'm going to play that here through the power of the internet and the
good old
interwebs. Now, this is a public domain piece, but just so that I CYA'd, in the description down below is the U.S. Code U.S. Code 17, Section 105, which specifically states that any works done by employees or members of the United States government in their duties is considered to be public domain, and there is no copyright claim that can be established amongst those, et cetera, yada, yada, all the legal bullshit. So basically, suck it if, you try to copyright claim this. Anyway, I'm going to play this, and so it's 4th of July. This is fitting, very fitting, and everybody will know exactly who the hell this is. And
at least they better.
We're just going to, yeah. They will. All right. And, okay, so here we go.
When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new gods for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish their right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative power, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amounts and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burned our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the work of death, desolation, and tyranny, already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy, scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taken captive on the high seas, to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections among us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an indistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislature to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They, too, have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of a right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Yep. That was him, JFK. 1957, July 4th. I don't know the venue, but yeah.
Vote Quimby.
Yeah, vote Quimby. yeah. Voted Quimby at the election. I think that was more based on Ted Kennedy. Because Mayor Quimby was a fat, large man.
Very large man.
Very large man.
Well, it's the one thing Quimby has over old Teddy. He didn't have anybody drowned in Chappaquiddick.
Yeah.
Didn't try to cover it up.
Who the hell did that? Was that Hank Azaria?
I think so, yeah. It was Hank Azaria.
He did like everybody.
Dude, the guy did like 2/4 of the show.
Yeah. That's
He
a
did
shame.
Quimby, he did Moe. He did
Didn't he do the police chief? Chief Wiggum?
Wiggum.
Yeah.
Who else did he? He did the newscaster.
Yeah.
Because he used that same voice when he did Brockmire. When he did that TV series Brockmire for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, who did Homer and Krusty? Was that I picture the guy's face, so I just can't remember his name.
Yeah.
He did Homer, Krusty, and somebody else.
Yeah.
Or did Azera do Krusty?
I don't know if he did Krusty or not.
I don't know. But
Then you had Dana Gould did a bunch of voices on there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Gotta love South Park. Then they went all woke and shit, fired everybody because of identity politics, blah blah blah. And they got rid of Apu, the funniest freaking character in the whole show.
Yeah.
The one that was actually the most sane of anybody in that freaking show. Of
Yeah.
all the characters. The most sanest one.
Yeah.
The most sensiblest one. For the whole freaking show. For like 30 fucking years.
Well,
Apu.
I think Matt Groening kind of caved as he got older to things, you know.
Well, some of that was probably taken out of his hands anyway when they sold out.
Yeah.
When they got picked up by Disney.
And then you look at that, and then you look at the guys, the Trey Parker, Matt Stone, South Park guys. They don't give a shit. They just
they're having a battle right now with Paramount. They've even publicly said Paramount's a shit show.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it now. There was this merger with Paramount and somebody else recently.
Sundance, and it's a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know who owns Sundance, right?
No.
Robert Redford.
Oh fuck.
Which kind of sucks because he's one of the main producers on a show I like called Dark Winds.
Yeah. Oh well. Yep. So the Declaration of Independence, 249 years ago today, it was signed at what's known now as Independence Hall in Philadelphia. I think it was just the State House.
I thought it was 250 years ago today.
No, that's next year.
Oh, that's when it was signed.
That's
in 76.
Yeah, 76. Yeah. So it was 249 years today. So next one's going to be the big 250. I'm sure that they're going to have some kind of rip roaring thing going on. You know, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. Hey, PD Rich in the house. Hey, Wookie, happy Independence Day. We would call you traitors, but we're all learning things from. Yes, you poor bastards over there. Yeah,
Bond.
Your country, your government hates you guys over there big time, and it sucks. It really does.
See, what they need to do is get all those soccer hooligans together and fight against one common enemy.
Well, it would be nice if they could get everybody on the same freaking page, but yeah, unfortunately, not all the time. It doesn't work all the time, unfortunately.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I'm watching what's going on over there in England, and the UK, and it ain't good.
No,
it ain't good for anybody over there, really. No. Yep. And shit's getting worse in Ireland too, which is kind of weird. But tell me about it. Rachel Greaves is lying about what? Yeah, I heard all about that stupid fiasco.
Oh,
what a fucking she's but anyway, shit. Yeah, it's tough over there. Ireland's having some massive issues. I don't know. I kind of got excited when I found out that the Catholics and the Protestants were actually coming together
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, when they get together and they're agreeing, holy crap,
Yeah.
they've had enough in
Northern
Northern.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get the Catholics and the Protestants on the same page. Watch out. Especially in Ireland. Watch out.
Yeah.
But it was Rainier who was bullying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of, it's a lot of grandstanding and acting going on.
And who'd have thought that Poland would have been the voice of reason in Europe right
no
now?
Kidding. Didn't they get rid of that prime minister recently that was the commie that got forced in? And,
Well,
I
there was
they
one guy.
got rid of him or something.
There was one guy. I don't know if he was the prime minister or what, but he was talking. We're not going to let any Muslim into the country. They're not going to stay here. We're not letting them in. Our borders are closed to immigrants and blah 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 and all this. I'm going like, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Poland's been like that for a while. It's not just happened. It's been that way for several years. Well, you heard what the EU did in fucking, was it Romania? They freaking they had a guy who was a nationalist. I mean, he's a nationalist, and he was leading in the polls, and the EU didn't like that, and so they had him pulled off the freaking ballot or some bullshit. Or not even that. I think what they did is he was actually winning, and they canceled the election and then forced a re-election and then put their puppet government in. And then they put the guy in prison. They put the guy in jail for some bullshit reason.
Isn't that what Macron did in France with the parliament over there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fuck Macron.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Polish learned from us. Sadly, we didn't learn from ourselves. Yeah, unfortunately, the AfD got banned in Germany. Yeah. I heard that too. Any of the nationalist stuff over there, they don't want all the globalists don't want nationalist shit.
Oh yeah,
at all. And they'll call it everything under the sun to demonize it and water it down. But basically, what's happening there in Europe is the invasion that's actually being done by the government there. The government.
Yes.
Spearheaded by the EU. And they fucking don't like anybody that's indigenous there. And so they're going to bring in the worst of the worst from third world countries to come in there and create chaos and mayhem and destruction and rape and murder. Yeah. And that's what they want. And that's why they're hands off on those people. But if you hold a flag or something and say, you're sing your national anthem or some shit, oh, you're a fucking racist and we're going to throw you in jail or beat the shit out of you or charge you with some bullshit crime. And you can't get on the internet and put something on X or Facebook and say, oh, well, I just disagree with this. And no, they're going to come to your house at 2:00 in the morning and drag you out of bed.
Yeah.
Like Gestapo scum.
Yeah.
And
brown shirt.
A lot of that shit's going on in England.
Yeah.
A lot of that shit.
That's unfortunate.
Yep. It seems like y'all over there better get together and have your own little freaking, party. I'm not talking about political party. So you need to have your own 1776. So all of Europe. So
yeah.
That's my opinion anyway. But yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good to create Yahtzees when everyone with 2 brain cells to rub together knows that naughty National Socialism is not a left or a right wing ideology. Yeah.
Nope, it ain't.
No. No. B-Dog in the house.
Happy 4th, brother.
Yeah, Rupert Lowe is forming a British version of the Tea Party. You know what? I mean, I've been watching Gabi's takes on this, and I agree with him on this. I agree with him on both points he makes in the same freaking when he's talking about this. They shouldn't need another party. What you need is you need everybody in the other parties to get together and start talking about, because there's small percentages of differences between these parties that for some reason nobody can fucking overcome. When about 75 to 85% of all these different parties that aren't Labor or the Tories, they freaking agree on like 75 to 80% of the shit. It's that other small percentage, that 20% or 50%.
It's the fringes.
It's the fringes that they get all pissed off and all hot and bothered and jerky and shit about. But if they just put that 10% or 15, 20% of fucking side and go with what they agree on, they could be a force to reckon with. Ben and Rupert are trying to unite the so-called right. Yeah, they need to come together, because literally, dude, your government right now, the government right now over there, the Labor government and the King of England. I'm sorry, that motherfucker hates you guys. He doesn't give a fuck. He's not affected by nothing. He's rich, and besides, he's a puppet anyway. In my opinion, he ain't freaking the queen. He ain't his mama.
No,
that's for sure. I've never liked that guy.
That's why she didn't abdicate the throne to him, because
exactly.
she knew how he was.
She was she was holding out for freaking ever, and it's always over the stupidest. Yes, it is the stupidest little shit, and it's like everybody wants. Everybody sees what's going on over there. You guys see what's going on over there, PD. You see what's going on. You know what's going on. You see it every day, every minute of every day. Yet, for whatever reason, they've got everybody flim-flammed over there. The government is flim-flamming people, or they're intimidating the shit out of them. Yeah. And, it's freaking stupid. Yeah, Sultan Charles and Captain Wingnut. Yeah. When I heard that he was wishing everybody a happy Ramadan from the fucking palace, I'm like, are you kidding me? He's supposed to be the defender of the faith. The faith over there ain't Muslim, or is Islam.
Nope.
Fucking his ancestors would frickin' have him frickin' off with his head.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
Fucking shit.
Where's someone like Churchill when you need him?
Yeah, I was thinking Henry VIII. He killed all his wives.
I am. Henry VIII, I am.
Oh yeah. Yep. Charles ain't shit.
No, he ain't. He's a puppet,
in my opinion. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame too.
And he's part of the monarchy. He's part of the monarchy. Obviously,
yep.
He's the head of the monarchy
yep,
there. But but the monarchy doesn't have pull in the government anymore, as far as
per se.
He can say things, and if they choose to follow it,
he could actually do a few pivotal things, but he won't, because he's in on it. Yeah, we're not dumb. We just need a good leader, but we've currently got the Brethren Court from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, no shit. Those fucking dude, your court system is fucked over there. And we're dealing with that shit over here, too, with all these frickin' activist judges that they snuck in to block everything Trump's trying to do and the government's trying to do.
Okay, so the Supreme Court came out and said that the lower courts could not change a national policy. But yet I still see these courts ruling, denying Trump access to their ability to do certain things. What gives?
They don't fear consequences.
Oh, we know that.
and they need to be impeached. They need to be removed from the bench, and they need to be impeached, kicked out. And that's pretty much the bottom line. And I think a lot of people, a majority of the Americans would agree with that. That these activist judges, I mean, Chuck Schumer said it himself on live fucking television in an interview, was that they've got 250 judges throughout the United States that they purposely put in place to combat Trump.
Now, here's the thing, too. They should cruel.
Oh, how's it going, buddy?
But the one thing they shouldn't be able to be allowed to do at all is go judge shopping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what they're doing. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's
because you could file your writ or whatever it is in the district that you're in, not go to some other district where you have a favorable judge to your cause.
They did that same bullshit in his first term.
Oh, of course.
They got some fucking judge in Hawaii. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Kroll says, face it, y'all really want to move here. It's great. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, only if William Wallace was still alive.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. It's crazy stuff. These freaking, we have no freedoms or rights. It's great. Come on over. Yeah, we still have a lot of rights over here. You're welcome to squat over here if you want. They constantly mislead Parliament and make discussions for the elite, not for the country. Yeah, absolutely. You know what's funny is in doing some research for today, I was listening to quite a few people talk about things, and based on the times that were going on with the Declaration of Independence in that time and the Revolutionary War, and then things that came after, because we didn't get the Constitution until much later, but they knew these people, like Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence.
Right.
The signers of the Declaration of Independence pretty much just committed suicide. They had everything to lose, and they did lose it. Almost all of them lost. They either lost their life, they lost their wife, they lost their children, they lost all their property, their possessions. I mean, these are people that had means. They owned farms and plantations. They had businesses. They had some money. By signing that piece of paper, they pretty much, condemned themselves to death, and majority of them did. And I think, like I said before, I think only maybe a handful of them were left standing with some semblance of wealth. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Oh, can we borrow JD Vance for a home truth session? Yes. I bet he'd love it. I bet he'd love to go over there and tell the government to their face they suck.
Oh, that good old Keir Starmer. Tell him what's up.
Oh yeah, that commie piece of shit. Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and that was going on back then. You have one thing that the founders knew, that the people that went through the Revolutionary War and that came back and started the formation of the Constitution to develop the government. And there's one thing that I went to school in the 80s. I mean, holy shit, I saw in the late 70s and 80s. So it was drummed into us there in social studies class and history class and civics class that the Constitution is a living document.
Bullshit.
It's bullshit because if something was a living document that could ever be always changing and morphing, you'd never have a solid base to stand on.
What does it constitute?
Yeah. And so if going back to what's illustrated in the Declaration of Independence, these grievances that they had, all those grievances were worked into the Constitution in the form of the Bill of Rights.
Right.
The Bill of Rights is not fluid. It's not living. It's a solid base from which to work off of. Okay? If you don't have a solid base, you don't have anything. I mean, try making a fucking house on quicksand. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. And this propaganda over the decades of people claiming the Constitution is a living document. Or that the freaking Declaration of Independence had no real bearing and blah, blah, blah. I remember that fat pig Kagan when she was up for her, trying to get her appointed for the Supreme Court. They tried to ask her about the Declaration of Independence because apparently she didn't like the Declaration of Independence.
She's a fucking leftist.
Elena Kagan or whatever her name is.
Yeah, she's a leftist. That's why.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But the Declaration of Independence was basically the seeds that went into the Constitution. Over a decade later. And all the issues were outlined in the Declaration of Independence, which were then morphed into the creation of the Constitution.
Right.
And we have the Bill of Rights. And that's another thing I noticed too. As soon as somebody like Obama came into office or Biden came into office, they stopped talking about the Bill of Rights.
Oh, yeah.
They would say, oh, this amendment and that amendment. No, it's a Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution are known as the Bill of Rights. They're the Bill of Rights of the people that specifically dictate what the federal government cannot do. You have to get that straight, ladies and gentlemen, in your education. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, outlines what the government cannot do.
No.
The government didn't give you the rights. Those are God-given rights. The government has no say. They can't. Those are the government restrictions. Why do you think they used wording like infringe in the Second Amendment? Okay. Why they use specifically in the First Amendment that you were protected from illegal search and seizures, and you were protected and secure in your papers and effects and property. Okay. So we have violations of that going on all the freaking time right now. People don't know the First Amendment's not just about speech. It's also about assembly, and personal property.
Right.
And so in certain states in the United States, you have these jurisdictions that like to use legalized theft, otherwise known as civil asset forfeiture, which is highly unconstitutional. There's some states
like what they're doing now. Like they're doing now, they're going. A lot of people there's a case I think in New Jersey or something to where you have these city councils and stuff like that are getting in league with some of these corporations that are build housing tracts and stuff. These contractors and stuff like that, and they're getting in close with the city governments and greasing their palms. And the city governments are declaring eminent domain on a lot of these family farms and ranches that have been in the family for generations.
Oh yeah.
And they're claiming eminent domain because they want to build a parking lot or a strip mall or something like that on that land. And there's no reason for it. They're just doing it because they're greedy.
Yeah.
And it's an abuse of that. I'd say it's an abuse of that that apparatus.
Yeah. Yeah. PD Kirstar reminds me of Prince George. Total clot.
Yeah.
Paying off his gambling debts. Now Starmer's trying to use the IMF to pay for Rachel Greaves' constant fuck ups. Yeah, no shit. There you go. B-Dog says, kissed by living document. You guys think the credit crisis was staged by the Obama administration and the WEF to bankrupt? I believe so. Anything's possible. Let's put it this way. I would not put it past an individual who has questionable allegiances. Let's put it that way. There's some very good evidence that certain individuals during that time period that you're referencing, had allegiances that were not known to the general public, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, in this whole thing, it made common people who were doing well for themselves. They lost everything, and it made them beholden to the government at that point because they needed that government assistance at that point.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's crazy. You have here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand this either. Back before the turn of the 1900s, right after the United States Civil War in 1865, over the next few decades after the Civil War, there was a push to take and federalize the United States Senate, which they ultimately ended up doing. Now you have to understand it. The Civil War, ladies and gentlemen, the Civil War did not start by a couple of rednecks just shooting at Union soldiers or vice versa. No, it started in Washington fucking D.C. in the chambers of the United States Senate, and the senators were having fist fights. And I think one guy pulled the
good times.
Gun. One guy pulled the freaking gun because you got the senators who were at that time appointed by the state's legislature, okay, which is how it was done in per the Constitution. They directly represented the state's interests. Your House of Representatives is elected by a general election for a specific district. They become the federal arm of the legislature. The Senate was considered to be the state representatives of of the legislature. Well, the Civil War started because senators in the Senate chambers were getting into fights, like physical fist fights and shit. Almost like what you see on those freaking YouTube videos or clips that travel around the internet every so often of these guys in Indonesia going ape shit in their government, like assembly hall, and people are throwing chairs and throwing blows and kicks and jumping over tables at each other. It's like freaking Royal Rumble gone nuts. That's kind of how it was in the United States state houses. They fucking had a fist fight.
Nice.
And they kicked the shit out of each other. That's where it started. Because the senators were representing their states. And it started because of the tariffs and things like that. Yeah. Anyway, so there was a push after the Civil War had ended, and they sent all the carpetbaggers down to the South, and they started going with the North. Decided they wanted to have these Jim Crow laws to, placate the freed slaves, and they don't want them to integrate too much. So they basically did these Jim Crow laws and pretty much screwed them over, including one of the best law enforcement guys in our history, Bass Reeves.
Yeah.
He was a victim of Jim Crow law.
Yeah.
But he's probably one of the reasons why they came up with it. Anyway, so there was a push to federalize, meaning vote for your U.S. senator. And once they did that and they got that passed, they were able to do a lot more things outside of that because of that. One of them was at the turn of the century in the 1900s. I think that's when it happened. It was like early 1900s. I think that one motherfucker, that snake Woodrow Wilson was president, I think, is when they ended up federalizing the senators. And then that led to income tax, and then also led to the Federal Reserve, but it also led to prohibition. You see, the United States government was being paid taxes through the sale of alcohol and tobacco.
Yeah.
Okay. So the sale of alcohol and tobacco was the major breadwinner for the United States government. The income taxes were brought in as a couple different times as a temporary measure, but it was only temporary. So, and then they would cease to exist. Well, Woodrow Wilson, that greedy bastard, wanted to, let's do all this other bullshit. Hey, we have a guest in the house.
Who this?
Hey, Bunny. Maybe. I don't know. Where's your picture at?
This is
4:07 minutes ago. It's Bunny's ghost. Hey, that's cool. I like that. That's cool. Earth to Bunny. Come in, Bunny.
Do you have a statement for the press?
You have a statement for the press. Yes.
Yes, I have a statement for the press.
Get me out of here. Earth to Bunny. You're muted. What the hell are you doing?
He doesn't know.
I don't know. He's muted. Anyway, so yeah, it was the best, and then they became senators, became federalized, and that was it.
Yeah,
but they were the representatives of the states interest. You see, because before the Civil War, the United States was not known as the United States. It was referred to and called these United States.
Yeah.
The states prior to Lincoln had a little bit more say. They had a little more say and sway into what they could do as far as self-governance. And at the time, the federal government was just there to make sure that the Bill of Rights was protected, and that they had a good standing army, and the army was taken care of, and first, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare. So trade, commerce, things like that, military, they were basically to provide those things. And then the states pretty much provided everything else. But as soon as Abraham Lincoln came into office and the Civil War started, he wanted to protect the Union, and I can't dissolve the Union. So yeah. So, and then we were left. Then he changed it from these United States to the United States, singular as one, instead of, these many different states. So there's that. But Bunny's gone again. He took off. He ditched. He went out. He's having technical difficulties. I don't know.
Probably.
What's going on here? Someone say alcohol. I had a beer. Had a beer with my palate and good.
Just Bunny, one beer? What the hell's the matter with you, Kroll?
Probably a tall one.
Nah.
Oh, Bunny's back.
No, he's not. No. I don't see anybody.
I see
It's
him.
blank.
I
Yeah, you
see
see him.
I see him.
You have special glasses?
I have.
What do you
I've-
romper rooms looking through the
Yes, through the
viewfinder?
mirror. Yes, the mirror. Magic mirror. There he is.
There he is. He's not moving. He's not saying much either.
He's moving. He's there.
Yeah.
He's studying.
It's very intent, or that
He's
is just very grumpy.
He is. Probably both.
It's probably a bit more at you. Just you.
Oh
Just
no.
one.
He's probably mad at me. Yeah. He's probably mad at me.
The only time he gets mad at me when I say parkour.
Hey,
Okay, let's try that.
there we go.
Oh, I got a voice
The
now. What the hell?
microphone is working now. All right. Welcome, T Bunny. How is your 4th of July going so far? Great. Awesome. About like mine. It's about like mine is.
Well, Wookie, I'd say come on over, but you live like 3.5 hours away. I got bratwurst ready to go for the grill.
Oh, damn. Bratwurst. Holy
Bratwurst.
crap. Damn it. I know. You're living way out there.
Well, if you have an animated background, it really screws with StreamYards, by the way.
Oh, it does? Okay. Sorry.
Yes,
Man.
that's why I don't do it.
Holy smokes. Oh, Bonnie.
If you're having tech issues, that's probably why.
No, we're not having any kind
We're
of
not
issues.
having any. Been fine.
We just couldn't hear you for a while.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, I just cranked up my machine. Evidently, it had some updates to do. So, sorry.
yeah. I love those.
And of
freaking
course, it
updates.
chooses now, right?
You gotta love the updates.
Right when you're going to start a stream.
Oh yeah.
That's lovely. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely.
Fun times. Fun times.
Well, nobody
So,
told me this stream was happening. I just so happened to see it. So,
Well, yes, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it myself. So, but I have an interesting thing if you want to listen to it. It's a reading of the Declaration of Independence.
okay.
Okay.
Why not?
All right. Let's hear
Done by Kermit the Frog.
Yes. Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Kermit the Frog here.
Kermit the Frog.
Okay.
Okay. And let's go. We'll let everybody in the chat hear it again, like PD and I don't think PD heard it first time. B-Dog and everybody.
Yeah.
Cruel in the chat there and the 8 people watching us. So we're gonna play it again here. Declaration of Independence, read by a famous man.
When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves, by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish their right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative power, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amounts and payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislatures. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, for quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by a mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing the same absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring themselves invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war against us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burned our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is at this time transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the work of death, desolation, and tyranny, already begun with circumstances of cruelty and perfidy, scarcely paralleled in the most barbarous ages, and totally unworthy the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taken captive on the high seas, to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrections among us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an indistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes.
Those last few sentences there kind of almost ring true to exactly what the hell's been happening over the last 4 frickin' years.
Well, I'm just saying that there are like abridged versions if you want like to play one on for a show of kind of like the highlights of it, you know.
Well,
see, Wookie, you've driven me to drink.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I just this is the second time I played that. But
of all ages, sexes,
the second time you played that. So what? How in the world do you still have 5 people? Seriously,
I don't know. I got 7. Had 8.
Anyway.
7.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
okay. All right.
Oh, I'll
so yeah.
Vote Quimby.
Vote Quimby. Yeah, no kidding. Vote Quimby. No, the things that he's reading off, it's almost it's almost parallel to what's happening right now. And he's talking about the king, where you could be replacing that with government. Just change the words around a little bit, because that rang true so well, almost word for word with what happened over the last 4 years with President Oatmeal. So, and all those other.
I don't know. I think he's more porridge than oatmeal.
Porridge. I think he's freaking like a freaking Jello that didn't make it.
He's like the cake you took out of the oven, 10 minutes too early. It's all doughy on the inside.
No, it's kind of like a souffle that somebody had done that had clogged around.
Right.
They deflated it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
well, I just think it's hilarious that liberal outlets are now saying shit along the lines of like, we don't think he was functioning very well, and the rest of America's like, welcome to the party.
Yeah, where the hell?
Welcome to the party, Hans.
Yeah. Where the hell have you been the last 4 years?
On the moon? Where the fuck you been?
Did you notice that the Easter Bunny was leading him a frickin' around? Did you notice that?
I know.
We did.
Yeah.
That. And then
what I think is hilarious. Don't
sniff them.
What I think is hilarious.
Don't sniff them.
They had that fucking makeshift. They had that damn debate with Trump before any of them were nominees, right? Officially. Yeah. And then after that, there was a Democratic fundraiser in Hollywood for him, right?
Yeah.
And he had to be let off stage by Obama. And all these big name stars like George Clooney were like, what the hell have you been hiding from us the whole time? We're like, dude, Where the hell have you been the whole time? He's been out there like
Exactly.
this. You know, all these Hollywood types are all like pissed off because
Talking
the
to
wolves
somebody that ain't there. I mean,
yeah, you know,
went to
because
shake-
they're pissed off
to
because
shake the hand of air.
they've been supposedly lied to, even though it's right there in plain sight. They're just choosing not to see it at the time.
Right. And then how many people have we found out?
Well,
have
they
been
are
using the
adult
auto pen?
pretenders. That's
Yeah, they like to play make believe.
yeah. They
Yes.
are adult pretenders. That's kind of like what they do for a living. You know.
Oh,
Right.
I saw
Yeah.
something today on the interwebs. You guys will love this. Disney is kicking around the idea of rebooting Indiana Jones with completely new actors. Guess who they're looking at to play Indiana Jones?
Oh my
Pedro
God.
Pascal.
That's right. This fucking guy.
Unfucking believable.
Who?
Pedro
Yeah, exactly.
Pascal.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Oh. I was just saying that sarcastically. They are.
No,
they are. Like,
they're
oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's being considered.
Of
Because
course he is being considered.
Disney always does. How many Disney things has he been involved with now? A lot.
All
a lot.
of them.
Yeah.
Because he's a
Yep.
yes man. He's the only
Well,
one that's
see-
going to.
Yep.
Well, technically he's Hispanic, but he passes white, and so rather than hire a white man for roles, they're hiring Pedro. And so they have
Yep.
like the check mark of like a Hispanic, quote unquote Hispanic, even though he's a Colombian, I think. But so they can say, oh well, we have an actual Hispanic male, but they think he'll be more acceptable to the white public, and so they can have their check mark and appeal to white people. Like we're not gonna
Screw
like
him.
we want some, like we want some effeminate, doormat, male doormat.
Right.
I will tell you this.
to
I will tell you this. I really don't care for the guy. I
I
really
don't like him at all. I
But
think it's a horrible.
I want
actor.
to say there was the one episode or the two episodes of Mandalorian when he was playing opposite of Bill Burr. And when he had to take his helmet off, that was funny. That whole scene with him and Bill Burr ups and shoots that guy and kills him is funny as hell. Oh my God.
Yeah,
But
well,
outside
then
of
Bill
that-
Burr turned into a cuck too. So
I know.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he turns into some crazy bastard for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean,
well,
that was the only time I actually was kind of impressed with his acting. Outside of that, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you said
there's
they
a
were going to
reason
have.
why Grogu had to carry the show.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They'd have a better time if they just went ahead and CGI.
The puppet's got more
freaking,
charisma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The puppet has more. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. But if it's just do AI and just recreate, a young freaking Harrison Ford.
Well, at least when you stick your hand up that puppet's ass, it gets you a demographic, unlike Pedro Pascal.
Oh yeah. Hey, did you hear that somebody bought Henson Studios?
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Yeah.
They bought it from Disney?
Yeah, well, it's been on the chopping block for several years now.
Fucking Disney. Yeah? Who bought it?
They didn't say who bought it though. They said it's been purchased by someone. So
Yeah, they're tearing down the Muppet Theater in Disney World.
Well, I don't know. I think
Along
that
with
the
everything in
kids-
Americana.
Yeah, I think that Henson's kids fucked themselves over when they gave it to Disney.
yeah,
I mean, it was never. I don't think it was ever Jim Henson's intention to get rid of the company. He was trying to pass it down to his kids.
yeah. Well,
Business.
his kids are greedy, sons of bitches.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, look at Sam Walton's kids.
Abigail frickin' Disney.
Yeah, Oh, that bitch too. Yeah.
Yeah. Roy saved Disney, and then his daughter ruined it. So
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's hilarious.
Pedro was in the season 4 opening episode of Buffy. Really? Really? Wow.
I don't know.
Huh.
Maybe he was one of the vampires that got dusted or something.
Stop stealing women's clothes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Holy shit. Yeah. So, yeah, damn. And see, there's such a great, you said it, Bunny, Americana. Disney is destroying Americana. You know, anything that's based in that. And the Muppets are that because, you know, they're intertwined with Sesame Street.
Which they've already ruined.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they've already screwed that pooch. You know, and hopefully we can only hope that whoever did purchase Henson Studios and purchased all the property rights and everything, intellectual property, actually is somebody who gives a shit about it and enjoyed it when they were younger.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
that actually could do something with it. But
odds are no.
Yeah, it's like everything else. Some asshole like a Jeff Bezos or somebody fucking steps in to, you know, do something stupid. But yeah, whatever.
Well, most properties are being bought by Chinese subsidiaries.
Petey Rich.
Yeah. Look at Lord Lundgren's kids. The pug face wonder who tried to cancel Doctor Who and now is in charge of Ofcom and the daughter of Useless MP. The pug face wonder. I love it.
I love it. That's awesome.
Oh man.
God, you know, I've been watching like Doctor Who clips for I've been addicted to them for the last like week since I've been off, and to see where that show was at one point, and like I was watching the whole entire arc of the woman that became his wife, you know, for a split second or whatever, and
River Song?
River Song,
yeah.
And they, if you watch, the first time you see her is like the end of her arc. And she's like saying a whole bunch of stuff to him, like, you know, calling him young and he's still young and blah, blah, blah. And then, you watch all the way to the end of her arc with the doctor. And then you like, if you go like, you can see her whole entire life, and it's like out of order. And then you watch those like final scenes that you first time you saw her, but there were final scenes in that show, and then it's like the writing is so good that it even has even more impact after you see like the other episodes. And
yes, absolutely.
And I'm like, they were that good, and now we got Shooty Gatwa with a kilt dancing in a nightclub or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, the writing
and
was
crying
so
every episode.
You know, it made it compelling. The writing was so good, you know, but you know, fuck. Once they started screwing over Peter Capaldi and ran him off. And then it just went downhill from there. I didn't even watch the last freaking season of Doctor Who with Capaldi. His last season, I didn't even watch it. The writing was so fucking bad. You know, it was so bad. They got these dumb shit companions.
Well, I mean, they brought in a lesbian chick, and she had to tell you she was lesbian like every other minute, and she had to snog every single loose female, no matter what era she was in. You know.
Yeah.
And it's just after a while, it was just like, oh, okay. Well, evidently Billy's gay. Did you know Billy was gay? No, I didn't know that Billy was gay. Evidently she's gay. You know how we know? oh, she's
Yeah.
snogging a woman from the 20th century who would never in
Yeah.
a million years think about, having sex with
Yeah.
females. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's how we know. That's how we know. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, and people are wondering, it's like, why did RTD get so bad? And I'm like, the dude created Queer as Folk.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he was writing before Doctor Who. Queer
And
as Folk.
he is gay himself.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah.
well, yeah. Evidently, he's gay.
But
He
see, the
just says
thing
it
is,
every other word in an interview.
Yeah, I know. Right. The thing is, though, when he first brought Doctor Who back as the main showrunner, they had restrictions. You see, the BBC was actually true to the lore and canon, and so they had a governor on his ass, where they wouldn't let him do too much overboard and up and beyond. You got to keep with canon and stuff like that. So he was kind of tame. He was, in my opinion.
Right.
And then when Moffat took over, I thought Moffat did a good job to an extent. But yeah, when he came back to quote unquote save the series from Chris Chibnall, he was working under loose rules. So now you have what we have now, and it's just a shit show. It's killed the freaking fandom.
They gave him carte blanche.
Yeah, and it's just killed the fandom.
And people were wondering, well, they said David Tennant was going to save the show, but David Tennant has a trans kid, so he's bought into the ideology too.
Yeah, he's done. But here's the thing. The show started going downhill as soon as the toys stopped selling. As soon as all the figures and collectibles and all the stuff started going downhill, because the show was becoming bad. It was almost unwatchable anymore. It wasn't family friendly anymore. That was one thing about it, but it was also deviating from canon and everything else. It was becoming uninteresting to the point where their toy sales started going through the freaking floor. Yeah. And it was not good. And now they have I can't tell you the last time I've seen anything freaking Doctor Who here. But when, up to the time just before they switched to Capaldi, you could find everything. You could find freaking TARDIS teapots. You could find freaking, costume stuff. You could action figures, play sets.
When Chris Eccleston left as Dr. Nine, which is my favorite, by the way.
He was good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they kept saying that the reason he left was he didn't want to be typecast, but he loved Doctor Who. He signed on, to be Doctor Who.
Right.
And you don't do that unless you're perfectly willing to be typecast. But then in recent years, when he was asked about it, they asked him if he would return because he was supposed to be the war doctor, in that doctor special. They basically wrote that for Christopher Eccleston, but he didn't come back because he said the same cancer that caused him to walk away from the show is still there. And what he was talking about was that he saw the end from the beginning. That he saw RTD was going to take it in a gay direction, and it was going to become political. And
it's big time.
And
political
he fought like once Captain Jack Harkness showed up, he fought to kind of keep that stuff out of it, and out of Doctor Who, and and basically he's like, if it takes me this much effort to keep this junk out of these few episodes I'm in, he's like, there's no way I can keep this up.
No.
And he just basically, he said, the only way I would come back is if you get rid of RTD, you get rid of all these producers that are over the show. And he said that's the only way I'd come back. and so he's trying to tell people back then, as much
There
as
we
he
go.
could with all the
Yeah.
confidentiality. Well,
Yeah.
I mean that
We-
second season was written to be him.
Yeah. Yeah. Our PD Rich in the chat says, Bunny, you want to watch the documentary of QAF, Chris Folk. You really see why RTD is a total a-hole. So,
I would rather take a mercurochrome enema.
yeah, so PD also says Peter Davidson has distanced himself from his estranged daughter and son-in-law. Yeah, Tennant's wife is Peter Davidson's daughter, and Peter Davidson was the fifth Doctor. Yeah, he was the fifth Doctor.
Yeah.
So he's yeah. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this one. Yeah, Chibnall killed the merch and it never really recovered. No, it hasn't. Like Star Wars, the only classic.
Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, Star Wars too.
Yeah. No.
Star Wars should have said. That's because Russell was supposed to be co-writing the 50th special. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
That's why he
Eccleston
did
said no moss. I'm not going to do
no
it.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it would have been good to see him in there too, but
It would have
was a
been
shame.
awesome. He would have
it would have been awesome.
killed that role.
Yeah, it would have been awesome. It really would have been, but but we got to see McGann in there. As
It would have been fantastic.
Yes, fantastic. Yes, but yeah. So they killed that franchise. It's like
They did.
who is the most efficient at killing franchises? Disney or the BBC?
It's a contest.
It's a freaking contest.
I think Disney, because they assisted with Doctor Who.
Yeah, they assisted suicide at them. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Doctor Who is as dead as Ted Kennedy's secretary at this point.
We're gonna go to Chappaquiddick. Let's go to Chappaquiddick.
I'll go all the way to Chappaquiddick.
That's right.
There you go.
I'll take
No, but you
Chappaquiddick
look
for
at
100.
you look at what Disney has done. Look what they have done so far with the things that they've acquired. They've
They
acquired.
killed Star Wars and
killed
Marvel.
fucking Star Wars. They've killed Marvel. They couldn't do anything with freaking. They couldn't do anything with the Muppets, so they're selling it off. They sold it off. And
they're gonna kill Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and they're gonna fuck Indiana Jones over. Yeah.
Oh, they already have. Are you kidding me? That last movie is
that
unwatchable.
last movie was the wheel of bullshit. Yeah.
He gets cucked out the whole entire damn movie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's stupid. I'm just
Which is
glad
hilarious
that I have.
because Sound of Freedom kicked its ass.
Yes.
Yep. I'm just glad I have my trilogy on DVD, so I've got that, and some other stuff.
Well, at least you got two good movies there.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom sucks.
Yeah. No, I've got Star Wars trilogy. I haven't got that trilogy yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's so funny because what they've done to the Star Wars.
Well, you're jumping franchises on me.
I know. I'm jumping all over the place.
What they've done to Star Wars now, it makes those prequels that Lucas didn't look great.
Yeah. Yes, they make the prequels look freaking awesome. Oh yeah. PD says that was the best part of it. The 8th Doctor 5-minute special. Yeah. First 5 minutes. He turned into John Hurt. So
yeah.
Yeah. See, they had to really fuck around with that script and lore and everything else, because they couldn't get Exelson to come in, and so they had to do something in between all of them.
Right.
And what they did do is they had, when the John Hurt Doctor transformed into TARDIS, he was transforming into Exelson. And so you see that briefly for just a few seconds where he started to morph into him. And then, you know, the rest is history. But they had to figure out and finagle it and, you know, figure out how the hell are we going to do this, you know.
Well,
so.
Well, I'm sorry, but Billy Piper as Bad Wolf is like the sexiest thing. Oh my God.
Yeah,
She's terrifying, but she is so sexy.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Oh, shit, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Evidently, they brought her back at the end of this last episode. I'm like, oh
I
God.
know. Yeah, it's just, who knows? That's bullshit. But you know, whatever. Yeah.
Hey, remember this mistake? We're gonna do it again.
We're gonna do it again. Yep.
Run it back.
Better luck. They'd have better luck if they get a job to Rowan Atkinson, but they won't because he's a white straight male.
Yeah. He would be awesome.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean.
There was some special show or something where he played the Doctor. Some like TV thing.
Well, Rowan Atkinson, actually, we've already had him. Sylvester McCoy is exactly what Rowan Atkinson would play the Doctor as.
Oh, yes.
Especially in the later seasons where he got a little bit of script control and he stopped being, he started actually, being a little scary because he got really scary as the Doctor.
Yeah.
What you saw Matt Smith do, a lot of that, what you saw Matt Smith do when Matt Smith got scary.
Yeah.
There were times where Matt Smith was like a horror movie villain.
Oh God, yeah, he was like, it was like, holy shit. what the hell, man?
Yeah,
it's creepy. You know,
like there's a sign. There was a sign in it's called Demon's Run. I think it's the episode where a woman said that he could never win because he has too many rules. And he has this moment where he turns around and his face is half in shadow. And he says, rules. He says, good men don't need rules. And today is not the day where you need to find out why I have so many.
Yeah, exactly.
And the way he said it was so freaking menacing. It was like, oh, dude. And she's like flinching. Everybody's flinching, you know.
A good man goes to war.
A good man goes to war. That's the one. But his line reading there, because he turns in, his face is half in shadow, and he's like, a good man doesn't need rules. And now you're going to find out why I have so many.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what we used to have, and now we have Shooty Gatwa. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
We zigged when we should have zagged somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Big time. But it's messed. You know, a franchise is going in the shitter when their merchandising department's like almost closed because they can't sell it. Like, I kill you. The fucking shit that you still find hanging around in the toy departments of stores for Star Wars that's just not selling.
Oh yeah.
I mean, fucking Hasbro even decided to throw in the freaking towel. Oh, we're not going to do much anymore, with Star Wars.
No.
It's not profitable for them. Because, you're trying to sell the show that's a turd, and so that reflects on the product that you have. You're trying to sell turds, and it ain't going to work.
No.
Unfortunately. No. And,
I need an RC Dalek that says exterminate and lights up. That's all I need.
Yes.
That's what I need in my life.
Yes, there we go.
Rotate when it rotates and raises
Yeah.
this, and
They probably
exterminate.
came out with
I
those.
need
They
it.
probably came out with something like that. A freaking
Oh, yeah.
remote controlled Dalek that speaks.
I need one. I need
Oh.
one. I need to look it up.
I got a robot from Lost in Space. Danger, danger.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't
Yeah, I
work. He
remember
doesn't
that
work
dude.
too great. He doesn't work too great anymore, but still
Nah.
Still around.
Still around. I got him. But,
Okay. Evidently,
yeah,
they've been out for
fucking shit.
ages in England or whatever.
Yeah. B9. B9.
So,
B9. B9's
well,
a
I
robot.
don't live in England, thank God.
B9.
So,
B9. Yep. Well, the one store that was here in town that was a movie store, they sold comic books. Had a big book section, comic books, music, DVDs, and then they had a whole 16-foot section of movie-based memorabilia, and 8 feet of it was Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Doctor Who, and it was 8 foot by 4 foot. So yeah, they had everything. They had the Fez. You could buy a Fez. You could buy the TARDIS. You could buy action figures. You could buy the large action figures like the 12-inch, or you could buy the small ones that were like the 4-inch or whatever. You could buy coffee mugs and freaking travel mugs and all kinds of shit. God, they had a bunch of stuff. You could get a sonic screwdriver. Yeah, it was. They had a lot of stuff.
I got a thing for my son. It's an alarm clock, and what it does the TARDIS, and it does the noise when it's
Oh yeah, there you go.
And it flashes the time onto the ceiling.
Nice.
But that's he was a little kid then, so.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, I have a tin container that's the TARDIS, and so ironically, I have all of my tea bags in there. Because I think that's what it's for. It's for it's just a tin canister type deal.
Uh-huh.
But I think they said it was for tea, but whatever. Well, they fit in there, yeah. All my Lipton.
Oh, your Lipton.
All my Liptons. Anyway. Yeah, hell. Well, you know what? I think we better call it. It's kind of getting late for me. Well, we've been on. Oh, D, Bunny just bailed.
What the hell?
What the hell? What the hell?
What did you say to him?
I don't know.
How did you offend him?
What did I say to him? I don't know. I didn't. I know he's been having some issues with everything over there, internet and everything else.
Yeah.
He may have that might be happening. The internet over there. It's also a freaking holiday, and it's 6. It's almost 7 o'clock over there now.
They could be getting the fireworks going up there out there now.
Almost 6 o'clock yet. Yeah. I got to get ready for that because of my dog.
The dog's gonna freak out.
She'll piss herself somewhere.
I got to go out there and start the barbecuing for the bratwurst.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, lucky. I wonder if the neighbors down the block will be having their music on the radio. All the mariachi shit.
all the music with all the treble turned up and no bass.
Yes, exactly. What?
Lots of horns and
yes, bass. Yes. They were made by character options and come in many shapes and sizes. The 12-inch version is the most common. Oh yeah, that's for the remote control Dalek. Yeah,
That's true.
cool.
That's true.
That would be kind of cool too. Get my hands on that. Oh, he's back. Da-da, 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 da-da. Maybe.
Maybe.
Mhm. Oh, maybe
Only
he's got some.
Only if you're
We'll
nice.
find out in a second. Find out in a second. Oh, you got to tell him.
What?
He comes back on.
Tell him what?
Tell him
Tell him what?
about tomorrow.
Oh, then I'm not going to be on the show.
Yeah, you're not gonna be on the show. Where is he? He disappeared.
He's hiding from.
He's
doesn't like
he's
you
invisible again. The
doesn't like
invisible
you
bunny.
anymore.
There he
He's
is.
hiding from you.
He's hiding. He's
I'm
telepathic.
not
You
hiding.
can't see me. I'm not here.
I'm not hiding. I just put the.
No, Abby's not. Abby's not going to be able to make the
I'm
show
not
tomorrow.
Make the show tomorrow.
He has
so,
a prior engagement.
yes.
Oh, okay.
He has to be on.
That I totally
Me.
based about.
Me, you, and Mr. Beerab.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put the link in the chat for the PDF of
Oh yeah.
my
Yeah,
comic preview or whatever.
Yep.
So
I got it. I got it downloaded.
okay.
Yep.
Well,
Download it.
tomorrow I've proposed, and I think Wookiees going to go along with it. But was McCarthy right? Is what we're gonna do
Senator
tomorrow.
McCarthy? Yeah.
Yes.
Senator McCarthy, was he right?
I think he was.
Because he's been the boogeyman for like
Decades.
every time somebody goes after somebody unfairly, they bring up McCarthyism or instead of witch
Yes.
hunt or whatever.
Yes.
It's like synonyms at this point. But
Yeah.
was he right? We've got.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. I think he
Telling
was.
you, we all need to make up a show based on what Cruel said in one of the shows we were talking. He was talking. He goes, it'd be a great title called "Rusty History" with Cruel Burrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rusty history. There we go.
Yeah, we need to do that show. We'll just come up with a topic and then he can riff on it and say what he thinks it is, and then
Right.
we'll
There we
agree.
go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we'll do the actual history and find out how close he got.
Right.
Usually
go.
he's pretty
Good old
hilariously
PD.
off.
We need a McCarthy in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna need a whole,
do.
a whole
You really,
frickin'
really do.
brigade of them.
Yes.
Let's see, PD. Anyway, gents, thanks for taking my mind off of how crappy my country has become. And the words of Captain Jack Sparrow saved me. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, like I said, there's plenty of land out here for you guys.
Well, PD, if anything today tells you that you need to save yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Because that's what we did.
Yep.
From the
That's what
same
we did.
people that you're fighting right now.
They have those foreign mercenaries in their country now.
Yeah.
Just like what
Oh, shit.
yeah.
Oh, you mean like
Yep.
the Hessians?
Yeah.
Hessians.
Foreign mercenaries.
We kicked their ass too.
Yeah, we did.
What you have to do? You have to go across a large body of water
Oh,
on
Christmas.
a holiday when they don't expect it.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like Ramadan.
Snuck across the river and kicked their ass. And where did he get the idea from? He got the idea from the old boys at Kings Mountain.
There you go. There you go. Kick the ass. Yeah. Yeah. JD was right.
The ones that nobody wants to
JD
talk
is
about.
right.
The rednecks
Yep.
with
Yep. Oh yeah, the redneck brigade, the redneck army. Tell you what,
Oh yeah.
they can get shit done. Even today's redneck army can get
the
shit
city
done.
Yankees got their butts kicked, but then they came down south and went back in a
Yeah.
body bag.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
Nobody wants to talk about it. They want to talk
Nope.
about Saratoga and they want to talk about Washington crossing to Delaware. They want to talk about King's freaking Mountain.
Yep. King Mountain. Tell you what. They kicked their ass.
Oh yeah.
They did. They did.
They did.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of the 4th. Have a great weekend. And hopefully we'll see everybody again tomorrow night with our take on Senator McCarthy and all that good stuff. And
yes.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. PD and Cruel and B-Dog and Bunny was in the chat, and so was Abby in the chat. And thank you, Abby, and thank you, Bunny, for being on today.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All problem.
All right.
No problem.
Everybody, have a great
I take payment in the form of cash or check.
Nah.
Anyway.
Cash or check. Yeah. I thought it was in liquids.
Liquids. Rare earth metal.
Yes, rare earth metal. Oh yeah, everybody also hit this link and go check out what Bunny's got on there on his Dropbox. You won't be disappointed. So hit that and take a look at it and see what you think. I think it's just a free download, yeah? Bunny?
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's free.
Check it out, get a taste of it, and then maybe you'll go and back the full book because I'm sure he's got some perks too. So cool.
Go.
All right, everybody, have a great
guys.
evening. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night. And we'll go over here to my on this other page. Right here. Okay, here we go.
Bye.
We all just want to party. Yes, yes, we don't care what we're told.